Being human. When I'm thinking about being human, one thing comes in my mind in this corona period. The way doctors, nurses, and all policemen and others other have given their services without selflessly and risk their life and provided their services to all of us. It's a great example of being human. Also, whenever someone is sharing or giving anything or any kind of help, that comes under this category, being human. And this is very important in this in today's world. We all need to have some habits of sharing and giving, but unfortunately in this world there are very few people or community who belongs to this category. So today topic is more on being human, and we will Toastmaster Subodh will further give more information on that during the meeting. But before that, uh, as a sergeant at arm, I will give some meeting related information. Okay, just a minute. So, welcome all to 245th chapter meeting of Barnet Toastmaster Club. Our club provides a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered and develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in a greater self-confidence and personal growth. Let me explain some basic rules of the meeting. Please mute your microphone when you are not speaking. Also, rename yourself by prefixing with your meeting role or with TM or with the guest if you are not the Toastmasters. Please put your mobile phones on silent mode to avoid any distraction when you get a chance to speak. Be cognizant of body movement, multitasking, and background. Use the chat box for any questions or comments. For feedback, send it one-to-one message only to the speaker. Please clap or use a clap emoji whenever the control is transferred. When you being speaking, the correct protocol is you have to greet in following manner. Good evening, presiding officer, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmaster, and guest. Now, I would like to hand over control to our presiding officer, who is also a happiness coach. Please welcome Toastmaster Radha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Devesh, for such a warm opening of our 245th club meeting at Bane Toastmaster Club. I would like to call this meeting to order. Okay, just a small correction to what Toastmaster Devesh has just said. Although both the things can be very simply interlinked, he spoke about how it is so important to be a human. And actually, it's not very different to what our theme is today, being Indian. Most of the time, we are serving others and we are in that attire of being human. So, yeah, thank you so much. Before I begin, Vibha, I'd like your help to identify if there are any guests. I would like to know if there are any guests.
Yeah, sure, Radha. Guest Manish and guest Sita Raman.
Okay, so I would like to request our guests to unmute themselves and share why they're here and what they expect from today's meeting. Just in 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. Guest Manish, you may go first.
Hi. Actually, I was here to know how the Toastmasters Club work. This is my first meeting of any Toastmasters Club, so I've never been to any club. And my friend Shivani is here. She asked me like you can join as a guest and you can see how the club works and how the meetings go. So I'm just here for that.
Great. I hope you enjoy the meeting. I do request you to participate in our table topic. Give your name to Toastmaster Sonika if you wish to try out impromptu speaking. Toastmaster Sitaraman, would you like to introduce and say?
Hey, hi Radha. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi Radha. I am Sitaram Vemuri, currently member of Capgemini Ikigai Toastmaster Club. Recently, I changed my organization from CAP to IBM. So I am looking forward to join any one of the clubs, community clubs, which will be holding online meetings. So being a
Great.
member of Toastmaster for the last 1 year, and
Fantastic.
yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Fantastic. We don't need to tell why and what and how the meeting proceedings go. Probably you are here to experience how Bane Toastmaster Club actually execute the meeting, right? Toastmasters is a self-paced global learning platform which is internationally acclaimed. It has 364,000 members and it exists in 145 countries with 16,200 plus clubs. What it allows is, Toastmaster allows every single individual to improve on their public speaking, build leadership skills, maximize their potential, personal growth, their networking opportunities which you get in your during your fellowship meetings, or if it is offline meeting, then definitely a lot of networking opportunities you get. You get to practice your writing speech because then you become part of the pathways. When you become a member, you are assigned to these pathways, which are super construction of putting you on that ladder of improving every single week. So you get to write your speech, you get to present your speech, you will be tested on your impromptu speaking skills during the table topic sessions. And all of that, actually, what it gives you self-confidence and self-awareness, and it makes you feel better about yourself because you can just go out in public and in your own office meetings and speak flawlessly. To know more about our club, you can always contact Toastmaster Vibha, who is playing a GE role today, and her details are mentioned in the chat box. About today's theme, being Indian. Now, I would like to bring some of the personal story to being Indian because I have lived in abroad when I was working for the initial few years. And it holds a lot of value because through the lens that people see you, it carries a lot of respect and the identity. So how I was identified when I embarked in the UK is, okay, you don't look like Indian. And that was a big question mark on my identity. So I started putting bindi around when I was going to meet these group of Indians, right? And the other thing that was very, very close to me was, cooking food and serving others. And for that reason, I would invite a lot of mixed friends and colleagues and have them over dinner or lunch. So that was another thing of being Indian. And you would never miss a chance of watching cricket together because that's every household would have Sachin or Virat Kohli. In my house, I've got two of them, and we are very high on emotions. So these are the mixed of thing. But what has kept me to the heart of being an Indian is I feel like we are culturally very rich, and we have a diverse range of people living here with a current population of 1.35 billion, and that's what makes us special. We share, we open a heart to people, and we are humble and we're polite to give us more of the different aspects and different flavors of what it is like being Indian. We have our today's host of the evening, Toastmaster Subodh. He's a software professional. Let's welcome Toastmaster Subodh. Toastmaster Subodh, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Radha. Let me share my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen. Okay. Presiding officer, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Namaste, Adab, Sasri Akal, and hello everyone. Welcome to another exciting program of fun and learning at the 245th chapter meeting of Bane Toastmasters Club. I am Toastmaster Subodh, your host of the evening. It is said in journalism that there will never be a scarcity of content in India, as India is so diverse, dynamic, vibrant, and multicultural. As Toastmaster Radha mentioned, that India is diverse, right? So why, even if India is so diverse, so what do I mean by being Indian here? For me, being Indian means a set of things uh, which we do in our day-to-day life or which we see around. These can be a set of gestures, our habitude, our actions, anything that are common among Indians, and it differs from our rest of the world. These are those things that shows the Indianness in us, like Toastmaster Radha mentioned about putting a bindi. These are those things that show Indianness in us as people as well as a nation. So, as we all know that these being Indian things are so many that it cannot be counted on our fingers, right? So, I have shortlisted a few my favorite things, and I will. These things always make me laugh, enjoy, and I'll always appreciate the dynamicity in India and Indian people. So, before we proceed, let me do something that everyone, right from a common man to the ministers of India, does before starting any important event. That is Shri Ganesh. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Okay, let's proceed with my first point. That is Indian gestures. In my office meetings, my offshore team often gets confused with my way of headshake, whether I'm saying yes or no. Where the world shows, where the world does top-down movement of the head for nodding yes, Indians have a unique way of saying yes by lateral shaking of the head, isn't it? Similarly, there are many hand gestures which are only Indians. I will show some of them, and I will request you guys to unmute your microphone and please let me know what I'm trying to indicate. I will stop my screen share here. Okay, the first one is this.
Must.
Nice, very nice.
Very nice. Next one is,
Food.
yeah, had food.
We had any
Had
Had
food.
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 Yes, very correct. So next, let me explain the program for today, for the benefit of our guests. We have two sections. In the first section, we will have prepared speeches. Four speakers will deliver their speeches based on certain objectives, followed by impromptu speaking in the table topic section. The second half will be the evaluation session where we will evaluate our speeches, role player reports, and after that we will have the moment of glory. We all know that Indian festivals like the Handi has taught us that the importance of teamwork and team bonding. Similarly, in Toastmasters, I also have a team that will help me in the conduct and control of this meeting. We have just seen someone who has opened the meeting with a lot of energy. He is a software architect and loves painting. Let's applause Toastmaster Divyesh, the sergeant at arms of our meeting. To give us the critical feedback of the language we use, we have someone who is working as a digital marketing manager and he loves reading books and watching web series. He will also introduce the word of the day and phrase of the day. Let's welcome Toastmaster Santosh.
I'm audible and visible.
Yes.
Yeah. It was my guess. It was gesture of my English teacher in school days. Presiding officer, Toastmaster of Day, fellow Toastmaster, and dear guests, good evening. As a language evaluator, my responsibility to listen attentively what has been said and during this meeting, note and report any effective use of grammar or grammatically incorrect speech. Apart from this, my responsibility to present word of day and phrase of day. So word of day for today meeting, habitude. Habitude means habit of body or action. The use, it is impossible to gain exact habitude without act of infinity number of act and perpetual practice. Anyone would like to use?
I can try.
Yes,
It's Hina.
please. Yes,
Yeah,
Hina.
attending um, attending Bane Toastmasters Club meeting on Saturday 4 o'clock has become a habitude for all of us.
I can understand because you told me that you didn't have time, but you are here. So do
Yes.
have it. Thank you, Hina. And our today word of phrase of day, play hard. The meaning of play hard, be firm and determined in order to get what you want. He is nice guy. Example, he is nice guy, but he can play hardball when he need to. Anyone would like to use?
Yeah, I can. Maybe I'll try.
Yeah, please.
Congress President Rahul Gandhi playing hardball to become a Prime Minister of India.
Yes, that's why he is PM in waiting. With that, I request every speaker who get the chance to speak in this meeting try use these word of day and phrase of day in their speeches. And to encourage a speaker, I request the audience show the thumbs up or emoticon when a speaker use word of day and phrase of day in their speech. I will present my report when called for. Over to. This is my
Thank you,
gesture.
Toastmaster Santosh. I see that you have chosen word of day and phrase of day, which are relevant to the theme. Thank you. To keep track of time, we have someone who is also our club president, a happiness coach. She loves spending time with kids and her dog, Pepper. Please welcome Toastmaster Radha.
Okay. As a timer, can you hear me? Yeah. as a timer, it's my duty to time prepared speeches and table topic speeches as well as speech evaluations. Every speech has a time range allotted for finish time, and you can see that on the given agenda. And when a speaker reaches to the minimum time allotted for the range, I will share my screen, and after that midpoint it will be shown as a yellow card. With the end it will be the red card. The speaker has 30 seconds grace time before after the red time displayed to end his or her speech in order to qualify for the vote. I will give the report when called upon. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Radha. To act as an hour counter, we have someone who is a software engineer and who loves reading. Please welcome Toastmaster Komal.
Good evening, everyone. Dear Presiding Officer, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. I love today's theme. Being Indian, we can celebrate a lot of festivals as we have diverse culture here. We have Hindi film industry, called as Bollywood. We have crazy cricket fans here. And as a habitude, we Indians love to eat delicious food. Today, my duty as a counter is to listen attentively to each speaker. Make note of the following used word. Following used word like crunch sounds like Then filler words like but, so, like, well. The filler phrases like you know and so, etc. When called upon, I will give my report to speakers. Back to TMOD. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Komal. I totally agree with the things you mentioned that Indians like. Thank you. So with this, let's move on to our theme. Let me quickly share my screen again. We Indians are so fond of colors. You can walk across any street in India and you will see different colors all over, be it a juice center hoarding or a banner of a political party. And I'm sure you must have always seen trucks with different design on them and also with slogans like "Horn okay please," isn't it? So why do truckwalas have their trucks painted? Because these truckwalas spend weeks away from their home driving. So that's why they treat their trucks as their home as well as their place of worship. There is hardly any Indian who does not know about chai biscuit. You go anywhere in India and this is one common comfort food that everyone loves. The whole idea of dipping a biscuit in a hot tea is relishing, satisfying, and nostalgic as well. And now, let's begin. Let's begin our first section with prepared speeches. Each project has a specific time limit and certain fixed objectives. That's why we call it as a project. Each project teaches us some aspect of public speaking, such as body language, vocal variety, and persuasive skill. The speakers will try to learn various such things in their speeches. So the first speaker who will attempt level 1, project 2 from presentation mastery pathway. The evaluator of this speech is Toastmaster Gitika. I request Toastmaster Gitika to read out the speech objectives.
A very good evening to all of you. Today, my target speaker is Toastmaster Shlok for the speech Innovate in India. And that is the theme also. The purpose of the project is for the members to present a specific speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he or she applied the feedback received from her or his speech. All the best, Toastmaster Shlok.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gitika. The time allowed for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes, which means green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. The buzzer will sound at 7.5 minutes. The speaker is a second year student at PICT and has a great appreciation for India and likes the Indian diversity the most. Let's welcome Toastmaster Shlok. Toastmaster Shlok, innovate in India, Toastmaster Shlok.
Could I see the timer, please?
Yeah. Can you see this, Shlok?
Oh, 1 second. I'm not sure. But... Yeah, I can see it. Okay, may I start? Okay.
Yes.
Radha? Yeah, good.
India, the world's largest democracy. 1.38 billion people, all coming from a variety of diverse cultures. We are all proud of our history, and I think rightfully so. We have some of the greatest inventions and greatest artistry made here. Yet, when I look around today, all I see are people buying foreign goods or foreign items. People would prefer buying Nikes over Bata, thinking one is more premium than the other. And I think to myself, why is this the case? I believe that this is because of the brain drain which has been occurring in India. There has been this streak of lack of innovation and creativity within our country, which I believe has brought our country down as a cultural icon, which it used to be. Good evening, TMOD, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. Today, I, Toastmaster Shlok, will be propagating the idea of innovate in India and how to bring India back in the limelight of being a cultural icon that it used to be. India has been in this bad state of economy for about 70 years. And this has one major reason, and it is a reason why a lot of problems still exist in our country, which was the colonization of our country. Our identity and wealth was stripped away during this process. But I feel that after 70 years, this has been used more of an excuse rather than a motivator. The first scheme or the biggest scheme I have seen, which has been trying to bring India back in the limelight, is the Make in India scheme, which is truly brilliant. It promises foreign companies to bring their business to India, to make their factories here, which makes India both the producers and the market in our own country, which keeps the wealth in our country circulating. The thing is that I believe that having a foreign brand is what is wrong with our whole country. It has led to this de-Indianization and that people start thinking that foreign brands are better than Indian brands. If you want to see an example, there is one prosperous company, clothing company called Peter England, another one called Louis Philippe, which are both Indian origin brands, but they've been marketed in such a way so that you believe that they are foreign, and people do buy these by the dozen. We have such less trust in our own premium products that I feel that we should push for more of our own indigenous ventures and our own products. So there's a better future for our own country, even in the international markets. When we buy made in India products, we buy because it's good for our economy. But it would be nice if we bought for more than national pride and we bought because they are amazing products, some of the best products you've ever seen. And I want the international people and the world to see how great India is culturally. Now, Make in India is a great first step, but the real issue at hand is the imagination and lack of innovation. It is good to be a factory nation, but for the economy, but we risk losing our intelligence. Now, this loss of intelligence is not because of Make in India, but it's by the education system at hand, which favors book smart thinking rather than research and creative thinking. This has been implemented to easily segregate people based on their intelligence or mug smart ability. and it divides people easily into lawyers, accountants, engineers, and doctors, leaving less for more creative jobs and more creative thinking. This has been done to reduce risk, as I feel that our population has a massive fear of risk, with good reason. In the last 70 years, we have gone through many an economic strife, and we had to slowly accumulate our wealth over a period of time. Now, if we do research-based thinking or creative thinking, there is so much risk as we don't know what we're getting into at the start. As such, getting into such jobs would mean that we are going into uncharted territory finally. Whenever we have new ideas, or it feels like that whenever we have new ideas, they've been put aside as these are risky and we can't pay for them easily. There must be a million new ideas in India, but a lot of these people who have these new ideas feel like they can't prosper in our country because we don't believe in them. So they usually immigrate to other countries such as the US, which have more open ability to accept these. This is the reason why I feel we should implement a phase 2 in Make in India plan, which is Innovate in India. Innovate in India would promote creative endeavors both on the entrepreneurial side and the artistic side. And it would provide financial aid to such people who want to think outside of the box, who want to believe and show how good India is culturally. It is very risky, but I believe that if we want to succeed in becoming the cultural icon we used to be, we need to take that risk. And we can't just leave the state in this way. We have to have a change in education and research-based learning. Because if we continue on our current path, we will not go more than what we are already. Instead of fighting a cultural and trade war, let us focus on improving our own ability. Let's make our own products instead of getting foreign brands into our own country. Let us invest within our own country, improve our own ventures, and solve our own problems rather than solving the problems of the West. I believe that Innovate in India is the future of our nation, and it is a risky idea. The thing is, nobody won the lottery by not buying a ticket, and I think it's about time that India play a hardball and go for it. To bring India back as a cultural icon, I believe that we should implement this plan, and I think we should all push for it so our state as a cultural icon can be reinstated. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shlok, for providing such deep insights into Indian economy scenario and also inspiring entrepreneurs to innovate in India. So let's pause for 30 seconds to write feedback for the speaker. Please share your feedback only to the speaker privately using the chat feature.
I just wanted to make an announcement that the timer thing that was shown, the ticking clock will not be shown for, it was a mistake for Shlok's speech. So you will only get to see the first card when it's green. 5 minutes.
Okay. So the second speaker will attempt level 2 project 1 from dynamic leadership pathway. The evaluator of this speech is Toastmaster Divyesh. I request Toastmaster Divyesh to present the objectives of the speech.
The purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. The purpose of this speech is for member to share some project aspects of his or her primary leadership style or discuss the leadership styles in general. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Divyesh. Timer, please note that the time allowed is 5 to 7 minutes. The lighting sequence will be green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6, and red at 7. The buzzer will sound at 7.5 minutes. The speaker is a software engineer at Siemens and she loves traveling, shopping, and yoga. She says that the best thing about being Indian is to be jugadu and also to be around the trustworthy people. Let's welcome Toastmaster Shivani.
Just a quick check before the timer starts. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are audible.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Shall I start?
yeah, let me just mention your speech title. Toastmaster Shivani, my leadership tale, Toastmaster Shivani. Go ahead. Thank you.
When I'm pretending myself as a leader, I'm talking about my leadership style. At the same time, I'm asking yourself, seriously, am I a leader? Presiding officer, fellow Toastmasters, Toastmaster of the day, and dear guests, good evening. I still remember my job interview, which was 2 years ago, when my interviewer asked me, didn't you read any assignment in college? No, I was in a team. He was shocked because whoever he interviewed before me, they led. I realized world is full of leaders and I'm the only one in the team. Then I found a place where leaders are born. Yes, the same place you are in, Toastmasters. But last week, it had put me into the same situation of which I was 2 years ago. When my next Pathway project asked me, what is your leadership style? Really? I asked myself. No answer. Toastmasters Pathway said, relax, girl. Just answer the following questions and you will get to know your leadership style. Wow, this is fascinating. While answering those questions, I ran through my memory lane to find that leadership story of my life. After a lot of thought, I recalled one such incident, my office outing event. Almost 1.5 years back, I had to organize a fashion show for my team, which was also an organizing team for the annual party. And the reason why I was handed over this responsibility was due to my previous experience of working on the ramp during college times. It was a team of around 15 with a very diverse culture and all levels of people, from the junior most employee to the senior most one, and the junior most being me. I am sure you all would be thinking that what's the big deal? It's just a fashion show event. People have to hop on stage, walk, pose, show off their outfit, and just walk away. Well, that's not it. A lot goes behind the scenes in preparing for that exciting and glamorous event. I had to pair up people according to their height with the right partner, come up with that perfect theme, perfect music, and those perfect dramatic lights, keeping budget in mind too. Run up different sequences, teach them when and how to pose, go on shopping around in the market to find that perfect costume for each team member, and not to forget to teach them how to walk on ramp. Okay, now a 21-year-old will teach how to walk to people of 30 plus age. Man, this was really a tough grind. And did I mention my own manager was a part of this team? Now, who would not love to become a boss of your own boss, even though if it's just for a few minutes? Come on, we all dream of it at some point of time. I know we do. But trust me, things really get difficult when dreams does come true. They laughed, made fun of each other, did make faces for the costume they were asked to wear, made excuses during practice hours, and almost gave up at one point of time because of the fear of embarrassment and humiliation. But me, as a leader, had to play hardball to make this happen and let go their social phobia. I did not know how to handle all this. The only thing I did was to stay serious all the time with a stern face, commanding voice, and never smile, thinking someone would at least find leadership in my seriousness and would follow my lead. There are so many leadership styles that Google or books would tell you: democratic, authoritative, dynamic, etc. I don't know what these styles are and where I belong, but I do know one thing and learn something: that a group needs a leader who keeps them bind together when things are falling apart. I learned how important it is for the leader to adjust to the needs of the team and not the other way around. I learned to be respectful and humble in leading people who are older and wiser than me. I learned leadership is not a tag that we label on someone's forehead that he or she is your leader. So you need to follow him or her. Leadership is the ability to get extraordinary achievements out of the ordinary people. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shivani. That was really an interesting story about you, about the fashion show you organized and how you got a chance to be boss of your boss. So let's pause for 30 seconds and write feedback for the speaker. The third speaker will attempt level 2, project 1 from motivational strategies pathway. The evaluator of this speech is Toastmaster Vinod. I request Toastmaster Vinod to read out the speech objectives.
Okay. Okay. The purpose of the project is for member to learn about different communication styles and identify his or her primary style. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share the impact of his or her style on others. All the best, Toastmaster trainer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vinod. Am I audible?
Toastmaster Renu, let me mention the timing sequence.
Okay.
And we can start. So timer, please note that the timing sequence for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7. And again, the buzzer will sound at 7.5 minutes. The speaker is an IT professional, an artist, and a billiards champion. Let's welcome Toastmaster Renu. Toastmaster Renu, the eyes, Toastmaster Renu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Subodh. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. A very good evening to the presiding officer, the Toastmaster of the day, and fellow Toastmasters in the room. The most important thing about communication is we have to hear what is not being said. Communication happens in different styles. We communicate by way of the recent technologies, which is WhatsApp. We communicate via emails, telephone, and verbally as well. But there's more to communication other than this. And more strongly, communication begins with different emotions. It varies with different moods. I always have a question. When two people are really angry, why is it that they shout at each other? Why is it that the emotion is so strongly in control of these human beings when they are angry? I remember a story of a monk. Once a monk and his few disciples were going at the bank of the river Ganges to take bath. And on the other side of the river, they saw a small family who was very terribly agitated and fighting with each other in frustration and shouting loudly. Nobody couldn't understand what was really wrong. Some people who were passing by actually thought this was a habitude of the family to keep on fighting every single day. During this observation, the monk asked his disciples, "Why do you think are these fellow beings shouting at each other so loudly?" One disciple said, "I think it is because they are not in control of their emotions. They must be really upset with each other." The monk said, "Why is that? They are right next to each other. They can also give the message, whatever it is, in a very soft and polite manner. Why do they have to shout?" All the disciples of the monk were perplexed because they could not give a convincing answer to the monk. The monk again asked, "Rethink, observe properly, and see carefully. You may also feel that you have to be really playing hardball when you are communicating something because you don't want to change." The disciples kept on thinking. And now was the time the monk had to throw light on his wisdom. The monk told his disciples, when two people are talking to each other, they are so angry and upset with each other and shouting because their hearts are at a very far off distance. And to make each other understand and convince each other, they have to speak loudly because they are not in their senses. This kept the disciples really thinking. The monk continued further. Moreover, if you see two people in love with each other, they communicate with utmost emotion of love, softness, care, and politeness. Even if they are next to each other, and even if they are angry or something that they do not like about each other, they will never shout on each other. Moreover, if a couple loves each other a little more, they will not only speak softly, but they will whisper, and yet the message goes across very clearly. And to some extent, further beyond that, the understanding goes so well that they just don't speak at all. It is a communication that happens between two souls through the way of eyes. Many a times in our day-to-day lives, we see people doing different kinds of things. We comment and we don't understand. We react, we pass a comment, we get upset, we get angry, or we laugh. But really, we do not think, is that the right way of communication? We do not think about it. In this particular situation of the poor family, they must be having different worries about their finances, about their home, and so many other difficulties in their day-to-day lives. They were right there next to each other, but their hearts were so distanted that they could not hear each other or even talk to each other at a very different, calm, and polite level. I remember one saying by Aristotle. He says, getting angry is very easy. It does not take any efforts. It is just an emotion that comes over you. But to be angry at the right person, at the right time, to a right degree, and with the right purpose is very easy. And nobody can get that very easily. So we have to avoid getting angry. And one important thing that I would communicate here, a key to communicate well is be a very good observer. It is a key of visualization. You visualize things before you communicate, just like you're seeing a moving picture and you are moving in that picture with the picture. The more you see yourself moving with the picture, in the picture, you understand and captivate things better. And then you communicate better at a different level. Had things been static and you not observing or visualizing anything, things get stagnant and you cannot have the clarity of what you want to really say. Over to Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
That was a great speech, Toastmaster Renu. I really like the way how you connected heart and emotions with communication and how you later connected that with observation skills. Thank you. So let us pause for 30 seconds to write feedback to the speaker. Okay. The fourth speaker will attempt level 2, project 2 from dynamic leadership pathway. The evaluator of this speech is Toastmaster Parizad. I request Toastmaster Parizad to read out the speech objectives.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The speaker today is attempting a project titled Understanding Your Communication Style. And this is the same one that Toastmaster Renu also spoke about. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify her primary style. The purpose of the speech is for the member, in this case Toastmaster Priyansha, to share the impact of her style on others in the way that she communicates. I wish Toastmaster Priyansha all the best. Back to you, Toastmaster Subodh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Parizad. Timer, please note that the timing allowed for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7. The buzzer will sound at 7.5 minutes. The speaker is an HR professional and she loves reading about multiple topics, worldwide facts, and stories. She says that the Indian culture of respecting values and people is awesome. Let's welcome Toastmaster Priyansha. Toastmaster Priyansha, stories everywhere. Stories everywhere. Toastmaster Priyansha.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Subodh. Good evening, Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. I am about to narrate a story to you, and you, as a lovely audience out there, should feel free to interpret, imagine, and react as per your comfort levels. Today is Saturday, and of course, tomorrow is a Sunday. Normally, I generally wake up around 6:30 to 7 a.m. in the morning, and it was one of those Sundays where I woke up at around 9 a.m. or even later, I think 9:30. When you are not in a habitude of waking up at 9 a.m. or later in general, you will understand how a person feels who generally wakes up generally early in the morning. He or she may feel pretty rushed for everything. And when you feel rushed, it's very similar to multiple browsers being open at the same time in your computer, which means you are not able to focus which one you should complete as a task first. I was feeling on this in the same way, but it was a Sunday after all, so there was no point in being rushed. Eventually, after some time, I was watching TV. News headlines are in general my favorite these days. So I ended up on Channel X, I would not name it, where the anchor presenting himself with a constant body movement on a flashy red background. He was literally shouting, trying to catch the attention as breaking news. The breaking news was the wind resumed its speed after slowing down due to humidity for an hour. It might have worked for some, but it really did not catch my attention though. But he was shouting, and that's what made me feel a little bit at unease. I flipped to another news channel on which a debate was going on with again another red, yellow, green, blue, all those bright colors, flashy backgrounds flowing like a thunderstorm. And the point was the ongoing theme of COVID vaccination. And one of the honored panel members started explaining that how he would have discarded the process that is going on had he been given a chance to do it. I felt literally agitated. I was already subconsciously feeling rushed because it was Sunday, I woke up late. So I grew impatient and I switched to another one. So this news was on everything similar to other channels, but the background was very subtle. Eye contact from the anchor side was steady, and the person was in a fixed seated position. That was a feeling of instant subconscious, instant sudden relief. Though in parallel, my mind was rushing through a lot of to-dos that I had to complete for the day. I was feeling hungry, so I sneaked through the kitchen and I saw my mom was already cooking one of my favorite breakfasts. I do have some fixed and favorite ones. So she looked at me and laughed. I laughed too and returned to my place watching the TV again. Thank God. This time I switched to some other channel, I mean Discovery Plus, which I wanted to watch because it was currently streaming The Secrets of Sinoli. I'm yet to finish watching it, hence I'll narrate this story later. So the crux of the story so far is, if you look at the first channel that I spoke about, the person was on an aggressive mode of communicating. The second one, where the COVID vaccination, where the person could have done something better, which he thought maybe he was being aggressive, but he was not being directed to the activity which it should have been directed to, which means he was saying that he could have done something to some other person who is not directly related to the COVID vaccination activity. The third person, where the anchor was properly seated, the eye contact and the body movement was steady, and the news was also being presented on a very subtle screen that is a kind of assertive. So there was a kind of assertiveness in the way the anchor presented herself. I was feeling hungry. I went to the kitchen. I just looked at my mom, didn't say anything. She didn't say anything to me either. And we just looked through each other's eyes, smiled, and then we agreed. And then we understood that, yes, there is something, cooking, which I generally love. So that's a kind of not negatively passive communication, but that was a passive communication where no words were used. I am an HR professional, and my role encourages me to apply different communication styles with different individuals and groups. I'm not getting into theoretical details of it. I come across innumerable situations where I have to maintain my pace of communication and even match it most of the time with the other person talking. Again, going back to the crux, passive, passive aggressive, aggressive, and assertive communication are the more main four categories of communication, where modifying it to the two broader categories is verbal and non-verbal communication. And one of the most important thing that I have learned about communication is listening to actually what the other person is saying. And when I say listening, it does not mean selective listening, which means a person only hears what he or she wants to hear. It's a complete dedicated effort of listening to the other person, comprehending, and then replying back to that message. I try to pay attention at that instant when I realize that I'm becoming a selective listener. And eventually, I have realized that every conversation is important and every individual is important. So, every communication with every individual becomes very, very important. In case of parallel schedules, I politely try to, but firmly offer to provide another time slot for discussions or chat. I have my own shortcomings, which I'm trying to improve continuously as I aspire to become a responsible public speaker someday, one day for sure. And I believe that everybody is a unique individual with his or her own set of qualities and limitation. Communication is a two-way medium, be it with ourselves or others. Hence, it is important to listen to ourselves, and while communicating with others, it's equally important to maintain the pace to keep it going. If done well, it acts as a personal brand and our own developmental measure as a human being. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
That was a great speech, Toastmaster Priyansha. You use TV channels very well to elaborate different communication styles and stories. Thank you. So let's pause for 30 seconds to provide to write feedback to the speaker. Let's have the timer report now. Toastmaster Radha, can you share the exact timing reports of the 4 speeches?
Toastmaster Shlok took 6 minutes 45 seconds. Toastmaster Shivani took exact 5 minutes. Toastmaster Rainy took 6 minutes 2 seconds. Toastmaster Priyansha took 6 minutes 50 seconds, and all of the speakers are qualified for voting.
Thank you for that report, Toastmaster Radha. So let us cast our vote for the best speaker. All of the speakers are qualified. Can we use the poll feature? Yeah. Okay. Coming back to being Indian. We Indians have been playing this game of singing songs. People of any age, any language have played this game and they really enjoy it. Can someone tell me which game I'm talking about?
Cricket.
Can you unmute yourself?
Cricket.
Cricket.
This game is of singing songs.
Antakshari.
Karaoke. Antakshari. Okay.
Yes, right. Antakshari is very Indian game and it is played only in India. And now it has been being played in Pakistan as well. So along with singing, Antakshari also tests our ability to think fast. In Toastmasters, we also have a session called Table Topics to test our ability to think fast and speak impromptu. The table topic master is HR professional. She likes to test people and their nerves besides cooking and reading on nutrition. Let's welcome Toastmaster Sonika.
Hi, good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am TTM Sonika Kanotra, your table topic master for today. We have two parts in impromptu speaking session. First one is round robin, where all get a chance to speak for 15 seconds each, and then table topics where few of you would get chance to speak from 1 to 2 minutes. Attempting impromptu speaking helps us develop our skills, basically four skills. First is listening. uh, I will mention the topic only twice. Second is thinking, getting your points correct together. Third is organizing. The response would be a speech with a beginning, middle, and end. And fourth is the delivery. I urge every speaker to use the word of the day and phrase of the day. For round robin, I will begin with a story or a sample. I shall speak for 15 seconds. I will stop at the buzzer and then I will call out the next speaker and also the word to start with. So, shall we start? Uh, Timer, you can please put the timer on. So basically, we need to talk about what we love about being Indian, right? So I will be giving you one example by talking about what I love about being Indian, and then I will be calling out the names, and you have to talk about what you love being about being Indian in your turn. Okay, so we can start.
Yes.
Sure. So
So should I just are people watching my screen or should I be just saying out next?
The screen is visible, Radha, but I think you can put up the Google page.
Google page.
Okay, can you help me? Which one?
Google stopwatch.
Okay.
Yeah, set it up. So go for the timer, which is the left tab.
Yes.
Yeah, and then set it up for 15 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Every time I have to reset, right?
yeah, it will automatically reset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, cool.
Sure. So I will start. So I, Sonika Kanotra, love diversity about India. Diversity in religion and regions, which definitely brings lot of experience in different languages, dialects. And last but not the least, the food. Thank you. So the next speaker is Parijad.
Our habitude of poking finger into everyone's affair, whether it's neighbor or someone on the street, or playing hardball whenever we have an issue and making sure that our voices are heard. That's what I like.
Thank you. Next is Subodh.
I like the Indian habitude of reserving gold in our households. So as of now, around Indian household goals contributes to around 40% of Indian GDP, and we have seen in.
Next is Santosh.
As always said that we Indians are diverse from culture, but one thing is very common, that Indians have habitude for the excuses and play hard for own mistakes. Over to TTM.
Thanks. Next is Radha.
Who? Sorry?
Radha, your turn.
Habitude of being a good cook and a good host is what I am made of. I love cooking and I love having host at my place.
Perfect. So next is Shivani.
Being Indian, I love how we are taught to be multitasker every time uh, and taste that delicious food of your own home by your own mom, who is a super mom. I don't think anybody could compare.
Great, thanks. Next is Priyansha.
So being an Indian, I love that we are so open to acceptance to the culture across the world, across India. Be it you go to the south, you have Italy as your main food, but you can cook the same thing with equal ease in Delhi as well.
Great. Next is Renu.
Indians living in the United States play hardball when it comes to following the cultures and traditions of India, as if it is their habitude in their day-to-day life.
Sure. The next is Komal.
I like cricket season in India. When it comes to World Cup or IPL, everyone gets involved, get it personal, and everyone is enjoying each and every ball of the last over. That is what I like about being Indian, and that's it.
Great. So next is Manish. Manisha, sorry.
Though we play hardball to be what we are, but I think the habitude of the acceptability is what I really love about being Indian.
Great. Thank you very much. Next is Sitaram.
One thing I really love about India is the way our ancestors inhibited science in the form of daily routines. For example, the early morning, once we wake up, we do like this and keep it on our eyes. The way this is science, basically nerve endings. I love those things.
Very nice. Next is Vibha.
Being Indian, I like most the habitude of Indian women to cook anything, whether they have tasted that stuff or not. So I remember the incident when I talked about my mom about mushroom butter masala, and she never tasted it. But in the morning, I have seen she cooked it exceptionally well. So that's the thing I loved about being Indian.
Yes. Next is Manish.
I think being Indian gives you access to India's geography. You have everything. You can travel in India from Himalayas to desert to beaches to rainforests, everything. So I think being Indian gives you easy access and easy access to India's geography. That's what I say.
Oh, thanks. Next is Vinod.
Yeah, being Indian, what I enjoy is the giving opinion to others, whether they need or not. On the budget day, all billion people, 100 million people become a finance minister or a finance expert. That basically I like in India, to be an Indian.
Great. Next is Divyesh.
Yeah, being Indian, we have habit of celebrating festivals very hard, and we all know that only in India we are celebrating like this, and nowhere in the world like people celebrate their festival. And the other thing is a culture, so that is also very important. Yeah, over to you.
Thanks, Divyesh. Next is Shalok.
I think the best part of being Indian is that in India, family is a core part of our culture. Not a lot of cultures show family at its heart, a lot about individualism, but India shows culture culture of family.
True. Next is Gitika.
Being an Indian, I feel that every day we celebrate Father's Day, Mother's Day, every day we celebrate Valentine's Day, every day we celebrate Children's Day. So for me, being an Indian woman especially is to sacrifice for everyone, and we should all sacrifice for each other, because I'm hard to, what you can say.
Yes.
Play
Great.
hard.
Yeah, thanks, Kritika. I think we have covered all. No one is left for the round robin session. Uh, I mean, it is really great to know that, we always say that, yes, we are Indians, but, the introspection, this exercise actually helped us to introspect what we actually love about being Indian, right? And I really appreciate the thoughts. All the thoughts are so diversified. People loving food, people loving culture, science, behavior, thoughts, attitude, about India. So, I mean, thumbs up to all of you for sharing your ideas. It is really diversified. So now we will move to the next section of impromptu speak, that is table topic section. Uh, for table topic section, I will be giving you a
Priyansha,
top.
I think we should take the break as per
Sure.
agenda. Yeah.
Sure. So I thought we are running out of time. Definitely. For how much time we should take break? Please, if you can help me.
We can take the 2 minutes.
Sure. So it is 5:14. We will come back by 5:16.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Santosh. Yeah. Please set the timing.
Northeast. I am not able to see time on screen yet.
Sonika, you'll have to stop this.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I've done that.
2 minutes, right? Maximum times. One 1 minute green and 2 minutes red, right?
Yes, sorry. Let me just help you with the timing sequence for all the speakers. Green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. The maximum is 2 minutes you can speak, and minimum is 1 minute. Buzzer will sound at 2 minutes 30 seconds. To qualify for best table topic speaker, you shall speak at least for 1 minute and maximum 2 minutes 30 seconds. So here you go, Sitaram.
So Northeast, one city I have traveled in Northeast is Kolkata, West Bengal. When I was in my BTech, I along with my friends have traveled there on a tour. covering from the north part of the from Uttarakhand to West Bengal. We have traveled there. That too by saying at home, we are going on a project trip to somewhere IIT, blah blah. We are going on a project trip, and that is how we went there. First thing initially is we don't know the language. We initially thought we know Hindi. That's we can manage there. That's not an issue. But after landing up there, what we found is people speak Hindi there, and their Hindi and our Hindi is not in sync. And we thought, okay, let's have some variety of foods. And what we expected there, and after going there, it was completely different. And 2 days we have spent there, and it was completely chill along with friends. What I have learned traveling these kind of places is how diverse India is, how diverse our food habits, all these things I have seen during my trip. The one thing I would love about Kolkata is hospitality and the way they meet and talk to when people from outsider or just visit their places. They treat with utmost pleasure. That is one thing I love about that place. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sitaram. And what I love about Kolkata is, of course, sweets, Rasgulla, and all the Bengali sweets. So thanks for sharing your experience and your thoughts about Northeast. Uh, Let me share my screen again. Uh, Radha, if you can allow me. Thank you. Next the next speaker is TM Rahul Dubey. Uh, Rahul, can you hear me? And if you can tell me which option you would like to select here.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Rahul.
Hi, sorry. Am I audible there?
Yes.
Yeah. So we can go to the South India 7.
Okay, sure. Southwest.
Okay, that is South
Over
and
to you. Yeah.
West. Perfect. Literacy rate of 93 or more than that. The place which lies just right into the center of our Sea of Hind Mahasagar, which we call it so. What exactly that special state it is, and I have been there for 2 years during my 11th and 12th. I was there at Fort Kochi, the state which is quite famous for its spices. Not only for that, but lot of treasuries, lot of monies, lot of mandirs, temples, which we talk about, lakes, fishes, natural gifts, which is provided by the gods. What not is there in that particular state? If you need to be there at any part of the India, and if you want to get a feeling of something different, of course, that place is your destination. Along with that food and spices and natures, you also have the food which tastes, the food which has its own kind of uniqueness. You find each and everything with some pinch of coconuts. Whether either you eat some water, either you drink some water, either you eat some food, or either you go in restaurant, they put coconuts in each and everything and whatnot. Lot of seafoods, lot of sea views as well. People not only from India, but lot many from foreign nation. More than the tourists of Indian, Kerala is a state where more than the people which comes from outer nations, they visit there. And the southern part of India, be it only the Kerala, be it the Karnataka, even if you go in that place, what twist is that we call it as a Dravid nation, as they used to be taught. The language is a bit difficult, but if we try to understand, it is quite easy to speak because you do not have to open your mouth completely. They can speak the complete word just by opening 1 inch of your lips, and they can say it. Hey, my dear friend, how are you? Do you know? So is it wow? We do not need to speak loudly. We just speak very politely. And if you got chance to visit any state. And if you have the time to prioritize it, make it prioritize and go to the southwest of India. Over to you, Titia.
Sure. Thank you very much. So, Rahul, your confidence in your speech, indicates a lot. It shows that how good experience you had during your visit and stay in Southwest. Moving on to the next speaker, I would like to call upon TM Komal. Uh, if I can have access to share the screen, please. Thank you. Yeah. So, Komal, please tell me which one you would like to go for.
India 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. It is Northwest.
Okay.
Over to you. Timer, you can please share the screen.
Okay. If I want to talk about Northeast, then Punjab is a state where we can. I'm like, I wish I can visit one day. I know about the cities there, Amritsar, Chandigarh, the language, all the Punjabi songs which we listen in every Indian wedding or in any party. Those are not completed without this culture. They have very diverse culture. Their clothes are very different. I had planned to visit Chandigarh once, but it didn't work. So maybe once COVID is over, I will go there. The one great temple, that is Gurudwara, the Golden Temple, is there. I wish I will go there and visit that temple. Then the language, there is beauty in the Punjabi language, Toda, Tenu, Menu, all these words. I like Punjabi culture, and that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Komal. So, I'm a Punjabi, and no doubts that Punjabi language is very, very, cute in itself. And we know that irrespective which marriage it is, in every marriage there is a Punjabi song played for sure. Be it South Indian marriages, North Indian, South Indian, abroad, anywhere. So the next speaker is Manish. Let me share the screen with you. Manish, if you can tell me which one you would like to go for. Sorry?
India 2.
India 2. India 2. Okay. So it's East for you.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. Let me just check what's East. I'm dyslexic. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sure. So request timer to please start the timer.
The eastern parts consist of Rajasthan and Gujarat, right? So these parts, no. Oh,
Sorry, you can please continue.
yeah, okay. So it's Rajasthan and Gujarat, right?
If you want to answer, then it is on, that is west.
Okay.
You can continue any topic.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
man.
Okay. Okay. Then I can talk about Rajasthan and Gujarat. Okay. So Rajasthan and Gujarat, right? So they are very, you can say, culturally rich, rich in their food, in their music, and if you can look at there are a lot of ancient history also built there in Rajasthan and Gujarat. If you see, there are a lot of forts. There are also a lot of battles that have been fought in Rajasthan. So if you have to look at what ancient India looked like, how then you can have a visit in Rajasthan, I guess. And for Gujarat, what I can say, it's as is it as per his food, right? Sweet. So both of its food and the people both are sweet in Gujarat. That's all I want to say.
Thanks, Manish. No doubt, the food of Gujarat and Rajasthan. There are a lot of commonalities between them, and both of them are quite rich in culture, be it food or the clothes or the Raja Maharaja style. So, timer, do we have time to accommodate any one more speaker? We have one more nomination with us.
Is that a guest?
Sure. No, it's a Toastmaster.
Let's continue with the rest of the meeting.
Sure. Okay. Apologies, Renu. Next time. Uh, so with this, we end our table topic session, and I call for the timers report.
Toastmaster Sitaram took 1 minute and 40 seconds. Toastmaster Komal took 1 minute and a second. Toastmaster Rahul took 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Toastmaster Manish, because of the pause, the first screen actually showed at green. So yeah, we'll give him a benefit of doubt and still make everybody qualified.
Sure. Thank you very much. So can we log vote for the speakers?
Just give me a minute because I need to update the list because I was
Sure.
update the timers rule. In the meantime, maybe Toastmaster of the day can take over.
Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Subodh. Thanks.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonika. So both round robin and table topic session was engaging, and yet again we saw glimpses from different parts of the colorful India. We thoroughly enjoyed the session. Thank you, Toastmaster Sonika. So let me share my screen again. We had great speeches. We had great table topics. So being Indian, so let's start comparing their performances with something top notch, like Sharma Ji Ka Beta. Yes, it's the same Sharma Ji Ka Beta with whom our parents used to compare us with, isn't it? Sharma Ji Ka Beta is a mythical and rare creature found only in India. Our parents used to compare our performances with Sharma Ji Ka Beta. But in Toastmasters, we have something better and effective to compare our speeches rather than comparing them with Sharma Ji Ka Beta. It's the evaluation session. So for that, I will call upon stage the general evaluator who will take us through the evaluation section. She is an application developer and she loves gardening and traveling. She says the word India itself unites people from all religions, castes, and creeds. Let's welcome Toastmaster Vibha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Subodh.
Can I say something, Toastmaster Vibha? We have a poll ready to be launched.
Yeah, sure, Radha. Please open the poll for best table topic master.
Done.
Great. Okay, so let's move ahead. This is Toastmaster Vibha, and I'm going to be the general evaluator for this meeting again. So yes, I have gained habituate to opt this role again and again. So talking about this session, this session is divided into two parts, wherein in the first part, the evaluators are going to evaluate the prepared speeches delivered by the speakers. And the timing sequence for this round is 2 to 3 minutes. So green at 2, yellow at 2.5, red at 3, and a 30-second grace, which after which you'll be disqualified from the voting. Post that, we'll have the role players report, and post that, we will have a general report related to the meeting from my point of view. So let's begin with the first part of this round, that is evaluation round. So I would request, just a minute, I would like to request Toastmaster Geetika to evaluate Toastmaster Shlok's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Geetika.
Presiding officer, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and esteemed guests, a very good evening to all of you.
Let me launch your screen for.
It is said that the picture paints 1,000 words, but a masterful speech can paint 1,000 pictures. And that's what you have achieved, Toastmaster Shlok, for your speech, for your presentation mastery pathway. Now, as you're talking about Make in India scheme, it is by the government of India to encourage companies to do the manufacturing in India and also the investment. How conveniently you have portrayed the picture of India, its problems, and showed that even the students at your age are worried about the economy of India, which I could see through your expressions, emotions, and along with your hand gestures. And that's really commendable job you have done. You stood confidently in front of the camera, and which is your asset as a speaker. You took us to the lanes of cultural issues of India, how Indians trust imported brands, and that I have also seen through my boys, through my kids, that they also want to go for Nike shoes. Why not some Indian shoes? And people are going abroad. But I tell you right now, India is growing economically, and that we have seen through COVID pandemic. You have done a fabulous job, Toastmaster Shlok, in this pathway. Only 2 suggestions for your speech. Create an openness. Let your palm face the audience to show that there is no barrier between you and your audience to connect with them. My second recommendation to you, that the ending can be changed. Though India is facing problems and challenges, but India presents immense opportunities to open up socially. We have seen that all that age-old systems, that joint family systems, it has moved to nuclear families, and because of which people are running abroad. Or you can also add up your own personal story where you have dealt some kind of challenges in India. Or also, you can put up some questions to the audience, how they are dealing with the challenges, or how we can help India to grow economically, culturally, and socially. Overall, you have achieved your target confidently with great eye contact, vocal variety, clarity, comfort level, except for 2 feedbacks, where you can do some changes, and I'm sure for your second speech, you can best emerging speaker. All the best, Toastmaster Shlok. Over to Toastmaster of the day. Over to General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Geetika. Amazingly done evaluation, and your evaluation your recommendations are worth following. So I hope Toastmaster Shlok would would follow these evaluations and reach heights. So next, I would like to call upon the virtual stage Toastmaster Divyesh to evaluate Toastmaster Shivani's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Divyesh.
Hope I am audible and visible.
Yes, you are.
Good evening, all. Toastmaster Shivani, today you have given an amazing and excellent speech. So overall, when you have given a speech, your confident level and the way you have delivered was really excellent. You have covered, you have tried to cover your leadership styles, and the good part is you have set the context, and you are connected with the audience. So overall, when you have started, everything was aligned, and it was really, at least it, I was very much connected with this speech from start to end. Now, the you have covered the fashion events, how you how you cover your leadership style in your fashion event, and you have conducted this event with confidence. That shows that you are top of on your leadership style. I have one recommendation, only one recommendation on your speech. When you are explaining the difficulties, so you can just bring little vocal variety so that audience can understand, okay, these are the challenges you have faced. Like, let's say you are teaching, the teaching to 30 plus years of your managers is difficult, so you can just lower down your volume and just express that, okay, it was little difficult for me on this area, and how you come out, how you come out from that difficulty, that's what you have to explain to audience so that they can connect it. So you have shown the difficulties, but how you deal with those difficulties, that if you can explain better to audience, that would be better. But just a one point, apart from that, from eye contact, hand gestures, your movement, everything, and speech structure was really good today. At the end, you have covered some leadership styles. You have mentioned democratic, authoritative, and you have also mentioned your style and what you learn from leadership uh, by leading a fashion event. That is really important. And at the end, you send a strong message to audience. That is also very important. So overall, job well done. All the best for your next speech. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Divyesh, for such a wonderful evaluation. Now, I would like to call Toastmaster Vinod to evaluate Toastmaster Renu's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Vinod.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Iba. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
All right, timer can start. All right, thank you. Presiding officer, fellow Toastmaster of the day, and dear guest, and my target speaker. Very good evening. Wow. In every art, there are few techniques and few principles, and the communication is one where my target speaker, Toastmaster Renu, very well articulated and explained. Toastmaster Renu started with saying that here, which is not being told or not being said, and that is one of the technique of the having the good communication skills. So Toastmaster, when you started with telling the story of the monk, and that very well articulated, and no one can do better than you, I can tell this. So you are a perfect storyteller, perfect articulator. The message what you have given, the involving emotion in the communication skill, feeling what you are going to talk, what you are going to see, and talk what you are seeing. And that was, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the speech of Toastmaster Renu. And that exactly I was like. So Toastmaster Renu, you have strong articulation power, very well can communicate any story to the audience. And that's what the audience also would like to see. So that audience will get engaged throughout the speech. And your gesture was so perfect. it was very well aligning with the story, what he was telling about the communication style. And that is one of the aspect of the good communication also. So communication is like a pizza. Plain pizza can taste very normal, right? Very common. But the type and the topping you add onto the pizza will taste differently. The way anyone can want to eat or anyone want to like. So it's my recommendation to you. If you could have added one story of your personal communication style, how it has impacted to you, could have engaged audience more and have more impact on the audience, and that could have a perfect speech. So I would say it was a great speech. You have good communication style, you are good storyteller, you have good gesture, you have perfect. But if you could add one or two personal stories, adding to that will be another level of your speech take. So that's what I would like to say. So all the best for your next speech. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vinod. Your evaluation is also like pizza with many toppings on it, and that too you have covered lots of aspects of communication. So well done, Toastmaster Vinod. Now moving ahead, I would like to call upon virtual stage Toastmaster Parijat to evaluate Toastmaster Priyansha's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Parijat.
Good evening, everyone. Real communication is impossible without proper listening. This is a statement from Ralph Smedley, the father of Toastmasters. And that's the communication I got today. That's the message I got today from Toastmaster Priyansha's speech. What I loved is the way she started her speech with story. Though it was very insipid story, which we could all connect. A boring Sunday morning where you get up late. But then she moved around and she added different elements, characters, news channels, talking about different kind of news headlines that she was getting exposed to. And that kept us intrigued into what she's going to tell us today about. And this also very well gelled with the title itself, which said, Stories, Stories Everywhere. And as humans, we have always thrived on stories. Culturally, everywhere, and especially Indians, we love stories. And that is what kept me further intrigued into what is going to come out of this speech. As she moved on, she was so clear in her communication. She maintained a great eye contact with all of us and maintained a very clear voice so that we could clearly understand what she meant, what she is saying. Her pronunciation, her use of language, everything was spot on. The fourth thing that I really liked, which was the most important one, was the key message that she left us with when she closed her speech. She talked about different communication styles. She talked about how passive and aggressive communication is different, how verbal and non-verbal is different. But all of them put together is what is important, and that cannot go without we properly listening to what others are saying, what our audience is saying. And that, I think, it was a key message on this particular theme of communication style. But as we all know, communication is about feedback, about listening. And similarly, over here, I have some suggestions for Toastmaster Priyansha. The first one is she may have to break her habitude of starting with some disclaimers and start with something more interesting. Today, she started by saying, I'm going to tell you one story. And then she said, it may be not be very interesting story. And then she talked about very generic pieces. I get up at 6:30 or sometimes at 7 and so forth. Can that be more specific? The second piece is about transitioning between stories. So news channel to her professional story to message. Somewhere I lost in those transitions. And the third one is more around her use of relevant gestures to support what she's trying to convey. So overall, I like the way her use of voice, her clarity in speech, her thought process, but putting that together with these few elements can take her speech to the next level. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Parijat. Now moving ahead, may I request, I would like to call the timer to give the timer's report. Toastmaster Vinod, sorry, Toastmaster Radha.
So Toastmaster Gitika took 2 minutes 46 seconds. Toastmaster Devesh took 2 minutes 48 seconds. Toastmaster Vinod took 2 minutes 53 seconds. And Toastmaster Parijat took 3 minutes 28 seconds. All are qualified for the voting.
Great. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Radha. And yes, I can see the poll for best evaluation. So guys, please vote for the best evaluator. So Toastmaster Divya, should we move ahead? Is polling is done? Voting is done?
Yes.
Great. Now let's begin with the second part of evaluation, and that is the role players report. So let me call Toastmaster Komal with her report as an R counter. Over to you, Toastmaster Komal.
Thank you, Vibha. So in my report, Toastmaster Toastmaster Divesh have used UFO words less than 10 times. His most frequent word was and so. Uh, Speaker 1, Shlok used UFO words less than 5 times. Speaker 2, Shivani used UFO words less than 5 times. Speaker 3, Renu, she have also used less than 5 times. Evaluator 1, Geetika used less than 5 words, and her most frequent used word was Evaluator Vinod used less than 5 words, and his most frequent word was so. Evaluator 4, Parijat was flawless speaker. Our PO Radha was flawless speaker. TMOD of the day, Subodh, he has used a word more than five times. Language evaluator Santosh have used a word less than 5 times. TTM Sonika used less than use and you know words less than 15 times. General evaluator Viva, she have used words less than 5 times. Guest Manish have used word less than 5 times. Toastmaster Rahul have used word less than 5 times. Guest Sitaraman have used word less than 15 times. Let's have a big round of applause for our flawless speaker, Parijat and Radha. Everyone, please. And let's get rid of our habitude of saying these UFO words and play hard to become a flawless speaker. Over to you, General Evaluator Viva. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Komal. Next, I would like to invite the grammarian of the meeting, that is Toastmaster Santosh, for his report. Over to you, Toastmaster Santosh.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Viva, and good evening again to all of you. I'm very happy to say that we used word of day and phrase of day immensely. I noted that we have 90 count, and out of 90 count, 16 people use word of day and phrase of day. So let me call the name. Toastmaster Subodh used 2-time word of day. Toastmaster Komal 2-time word of day and 1-time phrase of day. Toastmaster Shlok 1-time phrase of day. Toastmaster Renu 2-time word of day and 2-time phrase of day used. Toastmaster Priyansha use one-time word of day. Toastmaster Parijat use two-time word of day and one-time phrase of day. Toastmaster Radha use one-time word of day. Toastmaster Shivani use one-time word of day. Toastmaster Manisha use one-time word of day and one-time phrase of day. Guest Sitaraman used one-time word of day. Toastmaster Vibha used one-time word of day so far. Toastmaster Devesh use one-time word of day. So it's so that we are so much habitude to use word of day and phrase of day. Now I'm going to highlight not so good uses. Someone said, why truckwala have? So instead of that, why does truckwala have color kind of things? And someone said, how India diverse? So in context of that sentence, how India have diversification? Because India diverse is something verb and diversification is a noun. Pronunciation point of view, someone said Indian wedding. So it should be Indian wedding. Now some good uses: embark, prosper, accumulate, uncharted territory, endeavor, captivate, stagnant, assertive, comprehensive, immense, articulate. Now tips of the language. I have noted we used ego before and back frequently in our speech. So what is the correct use? Whenever use the ego, we used with the past tense, past indefinite tense. Before use always past perfect tense. Like for ego example, it happened long time ago. And before, I have seen this film before. And now back we talk about certain period the event happened. Like back in my childhood, I used to play lot of video game. So with this report, what I can say that all we play hardball in term of the using the language. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Santosh, for such a crisp report. Now this is the time for general evaluation, which is being done by me. My observations, I'm going to discuss and share my observations, my finding throughout the meeting. So let me begin with the first role player of the meeting, Sergeant at Arms, that is Toastmaster Divyesh. So Toastmaster Divyesh explained the rules and the mission of the club properly. He has introduced presiding officer, Toastmaster Radha. He has also given his views on the theme, that is being Indian. And the best thing I have noticed in Toastmaster Divyesh's role was that he has utilized the allotted time, that is 3 minutes. So that's the best thing. No recommendations for you as well, for you for now. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Divyesh, and job well done. Now coming to the role of Toastmaster Radha, that is timer's role. Role explained very well. You have talked about the timing and card sequences as well during your introduction, role player introduction. There were few unknowns, which I would suggest that these things could have been discussed and resolved prior to the meeting. Like in the at the time of round robin, we were not aware of the Google time stopwatch. So these things should be rectified prior to the meeting. Now coming to the R counters report, Toastmaster Komal. So you have explained the rules properly. Uh, One thing which you have also talked on the theme that I like the most about your introduction part, but one thing which I feel you have missed was to mention what is UFO. You have mentioned during your report like these people have used this much UFO numbers, but you have missed mentioning what exactly UFO means. So that is something which I would like to recommend to mention the format which you are using during the introduction part of your role. Yeah, and yes, you have mentioned flawless speaker, and also mentioned the frequent words used by each individual. So that is something which I would like to commend you. Job well done, Toastmaster Komal. Now coming to the language evaluators report. So Toastmasters Santosh, you have introduced the word of the day, phrase of the day during the introduction part, and also shared it on the group and chat window. You have asked guests and to try word of the day and phrase of the day, and these words are very relevant and pertinent to the theme. So job well done. And at the end, you have given the crisp and to the point report wherein you have captured the pronunciation mistakes as well. So kudos to you, Toastmaster Santosh. Now coming to the role of table topic master. So this session, this table topic round was the part of level 2 project 2 of Toastmaster Sonika. So first I would like to go with the purpose of this table topic round, and then I am going to evaluate the overall session. So the purpose of this project is to demonstrate your ability to listen to what others say. And I must say, Toastmaster Sonika, you have done the job exceptionally well. What I loved about this session is the topics that you have chosen were quite relevant to the theme. I feel you have covered the complete India, and I wished like we could have chance to add more guests and listen to more speeches so that we'll get more insights about India. You were calm and confident throughout the session. You were patiently listening to each and every speaker. Eye contact, your voice was clear and you were confident. After each speaker's speech, you were acting accordingly based on you were giving your comments and views on each table topic speaker's speech. One thing that I would like to recommend, I have missed during the session is I was expecting some more comments, more views after each speech. Like there was a speech wherein someone talked about Punjab. Toastmaster Komal talked about Punjab, and this city was quite means you were very much known to the city, so you have added given your views and comments over the topic. But there were topics wherein you have just given your comment in 1 or 2 lines, so I was expecting more out of it. So to summarize, you were on time. That I like the most. You were on time and you have finished your session within the time boundaries. You were calm, confident, patiently listening to each and every speaker, and you have clearly shown your ability to think, to listen to each speaker, think fast and act accordingly. So just follow the recommendation and you'll do wonders. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sonika, and job well done. Now coming to the evaluations round. So each and every evaluator, they have followed the CRS approach: commendation, recommendation, and summarization. And all the speakers were well on time. They have used up to 3 minutes 28 seconds. They have followed the CRS approach, which I had mentioned it earlier. One thing I just want to recommend, like I have noticed a few recommendations wherein like evaluators have mentioned vocal variety is missing or something is missing. So I just want people to give their means where exactly they should use what expression. If they can come up with some expression to while evaluating, so that the speaker can relate easily. So that is something which I felt I should recommend. uh, Rest, all the evaluations were amazingly done, and also they were encouraging evaluations, so they are going to help the speakers. Now moving ahead to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Radha. So as always, as Toastmaster Komal has already mentioned, you are a flawless speaker. You were energetic throughout the meeting. You were active. So you have checked on the guest list. ask the VP membership to name the guests so that you can take their introductions and talk more about Toastmasters. You have given some statistics which are quite unknown to me, and I feel most of us are not, means these things are not very much known to others as well. And you also gave prelude about the theme by sharing an anecdote that was to build up the context of the meeting. So job exceptionally well done, Toastmaster Radha. Now coming to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Subodh. So Toastmaster Subodh, you have published the agenda on time. Also have received a mail mentioning meeting invitation. So that was really done with really well. You have made the meeting interactive by asking questions to the guests, to the members of the meeting, and as you have mentioned during your round, like Indians are fond of colors, so that was something quite relatable. I was stick to the presentation you were showing. It was full of colors and less content, more images. So uh, I can easily means I was hooked to the presentation and the content which you were sharing throughout the meeting. And yes, one more thing which I would like to appreciate, like all the role players, you have somewhere linked it with the Indian colors, Indian festivals and roles. Like Sa, you have connected it with the Krishna, that Matki Fodo festival. That so all the you have linked it very well. You must have given some thought around the theme and then come up with such an idea. Amazingly done. You have done the job amazingly well. Now overall meeting. So yep, all I have enjoyed the meeting. I love being part of. Love getting picking up the role of general evaluator, so that uh, so so let us now applaud for all the role players and speakers and evaluators for such a wonderful job. And that was my report for today. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Subodh.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for your report. And yes, we will definitely try to implement whatever suggestions you have provided in speeches and roles, and hence make our meetings better. Thank you. So uh, it's time for voting for the best role player. Sergeant at Arms, can you please display the poll? And meanwhile, I will touch upon on the last point for my theme. Let me quickly share my screen. Yes. So how the world sees Indians. According to the world, Indians are the different creatures, but on the contrary, Indians are easiest to mix with. We are easiest to ask help for. At a global level, you have seen that how India is helping with more than 15 countries for COVID-19 vaccine. According to the world, Indians are decent and tax-paying, peace-loving people, and hence Indians are welcomed in international universities and workplaces as well. Overall, there are many benefits of being Indian, and one can realize that only being one. With this, I will stop sharing my screen, and it's time for moment of glory for some of us. Let's invite our presiding officer to give away the awards and also make any announcements if there are any.
Thank you, Toastmasters both. What an amazing and energetic meeting. This is what it is called when a lot of people are together and they are thinking their mind, they're stimulating their thought ideas, they're coming up with brilliant speech innovations, how they can improvise. And every time you do it and you share this platform, you can see it's vibrating. So today I felt the energy at this side. I am very sure you felt the same at the other side of the screen too. So thank you very much. Now it's time for moment of glory and presentation of award. Today, what we have is, I won't say a tiebreaker, but it's a shared best speaker. And it's between two best speeches that I heard. I enjoyed all the four speeches, to be honest. The first one talking about the Innovate India, and the second one where Shivani shared her leadership skills. The third one, Priyansha, Renu mentioning about being listening and not listening, it was observing, and how you can talk and communicate through your eyes and other things. And Priyansha talking about, again, being a good listener is so important. Now, why one wins a little bit ahead than the rest? Because of the likability factor, because of certain things that the audience appreciate and like in the speaker, and certain things they don't. If you can make your speech in such a way that quickly you can grasp your audience, feel connected to you, they're going to vote for you. That's be reassured. Keeping your speeches informative and simple is what I feel is you can connect. Rest of the things, the glorification can come as you spend more time here, coming here at the Toastmasters and rehearsing it. I remember when I heard Toastmaster Subodh the day one, and what I see him today is very different. And it is actually the confidence that you get day after day that you come back on the screen and you present. I won't waste much of time, and let's see who were these two people who are going to share this best prepared speeches. I hope I've got the right screen. Yes. Toastmaster Shivani and Toastmaster Priyansha. Very well done, both of you. Can we click the picture together? Actually, two of them can be put at
Just 1 minute, just 1 minute.
Yeah, both can be put spotlighted.
Okay, so one is done.
You can add a spotlight.
Add a spotlight. Done. Great job, guys. Okay, moving on to the next one is, why it doesn't allow me? It asked me to stop the screen and then go back to the PPT.
No, you don't need
For
to.
the best table topic speaker, I'm not sure if we have this guest Rahul.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, you there, Rahul? Wait. I need to share the screen. I am little in a learning mode with all the screens and stuff. Yes.
Just 1 minute. Can you just spotlight Rahul?
Yeah,
Can somebody spotlight the Rahul, please?
Can do.
Yeah, done.
Congratulations, guest Rahul. Okay, the next one is, without a doubt, Toastmaster Parijat for being the best evaluator. Kudos.
Please spotlight Parijat. Can somebody? Okay, just a minute.
Oops.
Yeah, done.
Wait, did you click the right picture or you clicked Subodh with Parijat?
No, I clicked the right picture.
Okay, so we have the best role player, Toastmaster Subodh, like I've revealed already. Toastmaster Subodh.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And that's about it with the certifications, as with the awards. I would like to take feedback from the guest and see how did the meeting went. Was it as per their expectation? How did you feel about the meeting in general? So Toastmaster Rahul, maybe you can go first, and then Toastmaster Manish, I can see he's here too.
Yeah, meeting was really good, and I liked the evaluation a lot. Be it our tag team evaluations or the evaluators evaluation or the evaluation of our evaluators. So it was really a good one and good things to learn. So I really enjoyed this one and hope to see more twist in table topics, more levels of table topics, different levels, easy, hard, medium, so that people will be challenged more. And overall, it was a nice experience. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you, guest Rahul. We're certainly going to take your feedback because our table topic contest is coming up on 13th of March, and we were actually going to plan how to give more members chance to practice their table topics skill set. Toastmaster Manish, would you like to give your feedback, please?
Yeah. So the starting, right, I thought like the 2 hour session would be difficult for me to sit down and listen to people, but it was so engaging that I didn't knew how the time went by. And I'm looking I'm looking forward to join more meetings with Toastmasters.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, guest Manish. Can we hear from guest Sitaram? Was it as per your expectation now that you were already a Toastmaster of
Yeah, Radha. Hi, Radha. Yeah, one thing I would like to say is people would always remember the emotion after the meeting rather than what happened. I feel it is energetic. That is what I will remember about Barnet Toastmasters Club. Everything that's excellent. I would love to see join more meetings, and if everything is online, maybe a member of your club too. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. We'll ensure that our VP membership get in touch with you guys and give you more opportunity to come here and be here as many as time you want to experience a club, and then take a call whether you want to become a member or not. With that, and before I bring this meeting to an end, I'd like to thank everybody for your support and cooperation. What I want to request is, do not miss out the opportunity to participate in the table topics from next week onwards. So what we're planning is, we're planning a larger window will be kept for the table topics, where members can just come in, give their names, and perhaps we would need pre-registration for that, so that we can just go there and rehearse ourselves, because literally 3 weeks away from ISC and table topic contest. With that, I adjourn the meeting. If you want to stay back for fellowship, you may do so.